What's up, people? In this video we're going to talk about the warrior diet, okay? The warrior diet versus the snake diet. Which one is better? Which one should you do? What is the difference between the two? And you know, I know you love the snake diet. I love the snake diet too. Man, this whole thing rhymes, okay? But maybe the warrior diet is going to fit your lifestyle better. Maybe you will just kind of be more attracted to it in general. Maybe it'll be easier for you, and maybe you'll get better results, which is really at the end of the day what it's all about. Okay, so we're going to get into that in a second. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. You know, I'm in it to win it, making videos every day, well, publishing videos every day. And yeah, I'm you know, almost 2 months straight publishing videos every day, so you've always got something to watch on my channel. Also, this video is brought to you by legendarysuitjamas.com. They make silk pajamas that look like suits, just like this one right here that I am wearing. Okay, now let's jump into it. Let's talk about the warrior diet. Alright, so what is the warrior diet? In a nutshell, it's broken down into two parts, okay? During the day, you undereat, and at night, you overeat. That's it in a nutshell, okay? Now, it's a little bit more than that. We'll get into the specifics in a second, but just to give you a little bit of background, the warrior diet was created by a guy named Ori Hofmeckler, who was an Israeli guy. He was in the Israeli version of the Navy SEALs. So he was in a pretty elite unit, and he noticed that he and his fellow soldiers would perform better when they were fasted, when they didn't have any food in their system. Okay, so after he got out of the army, oh Jesus fuck, he started to research this a little bit more, and he found a lot of evidence that, you know, many other elite units in history also ate like this. Okay, and one example that he cites quite a bit is the Roman army, or ancient Roman army, I guess. And he talks about how they were always lean, how they always, you know, they marched all day, and then at night they would make camp and have a big meal that was mainly like a lot of soup and barley, and lots of like, that's basically it. I mean, when you're feeding an army, you can't all just have like a bunch of raw meat, because that shit is expensive. Okay, so we can get into all that in a second, but the way you do the warrior diet, well, we'll talk about that. Well, okay, yeah, I already told you. You undereat during the day and you overeat at night. Now at night, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to eat a big meal. You're supposed to start with salad or raw vegetables. Then you're supposed to eat protein, okay, so chicken breasts or beef or whatever you're eating. And then after that, if you're still hungry, you can have carbs. And you're also allowed to snack after that. So it's kind of like OMAD or the snake diet, but just like a little bit more relaxed. Now, I don't want to like give people license to be more relaxed with the way they eat, but if you believe that you have the self-control to be able to eat the way you're supposed to eat, then I don't think this is a bad idea at all. In fact, this is the way that I ate, I would say, for most of my adult life, pretty much all of my adult life. I would always not eat anything during the day. Well, okay, that's not true. I would have snacks here and there. I'd have an apple or a carrot or like whatever, I don't know, a couple like almonds or something. And then at night I would eat a big meal. I was always lean. I always, you know, regardless of what time I worked out, sometimes I would work out in the morning, sometimes I would work out in the evening. I mean, I was always in really good shape, but then again, I'm one of these like weird people who's just obsessed with fitness. So was it because of that? I don't know. But I can tell you that limiting your eating frequency definitely helps keep you lean. Okay, we all know that, that's obvious. I guess the one difference between the warrior diet and the snake diet is that on the warrior diet, you're allowed to kind of snack during the day. You're allowed to have a little bit of fruit, you're allowed to have a couple of vegetables or some nuts or whatever. And in my experience, the good thing about this is that it kind of helps to curb the like ravenous overeating that sometimes happens when you fast all day and you don't eat anything. Now, obviously, even if you don't eat anything all day and you're just having one big meal at night, I would say that the amount of time that you spend fasting is probably going to more than make up for any binging or excess eating that you do, as long as you're exercising. And that brings me to my next point, which is that when you exercise on the warrior diet, obviously you have two options, okay? You can train in the morning, or you can train in the evening. Now in the book, he recommends to train in the evening. So basically what you're supposed to do is you wake up in the morning, you're allowed to have coffee or tea or whatever. You spend all day not really eating anything, maybe a little bit of juice, maybe, whatever, your snack, your fruit or whatever. And then at night, I would say, 4 or 5 o'clock, after you get off work or finish school or whatever, you go to the gym, you hit the gym, as hard as possible basically. And then after the gym, when you're totally fasted and you're starving, you haven't eaten anything all day, then you go and you have your big meal. Okay, now I've done it both ways, and I can tell you just from my own anecdotal experience that it's much easier to work out in the morning. Okay, well, there's advantages and disadvantages, but I always found that when I work out at night, I just am lacking, I'm lacking a lot of energy in the gym. So, when Cole made his breakfast video, obviously that's implying that you have breakfast in the morning, but I've never really, after a long day, I don't have more energy in the gym. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But if you train in the morning, you have kind of the food from last night, I guess, doing food things, circulating through your body. Then you wake up in the morning, obviously you don't go first thing. I like to have my cup of coffee, I like to wake up, check my email, all that stuff, and then go work out. And actually these days what I'm doing is I'm waking up probably around 6 or 7, and I'm going to the gym, to the park basically, at around 10 or 11. So what he said about the 4 hours to kind of let your body wake up, that seems to be true. That sounds legit, basically, is what I'm saying. Haven't done the research, but then again, you guys know I don't really give a shit about research. Okay, so who is the warrior diet for? How do you know if it's for you? Well, number one, obviously the culture surrounding fasting is very, I want to say die hard, very disciplined, because fasting is a challenging thing. It takes a lot of discipline. And I would say the most vocal proponent of fasting, the loudest guy who's talking about it the most, which is basically Cole, he's got his, own personality of being a very outspoken guy who talks a lot about discipline and, uses whatever. He basically tells people not to be a pussy and that they're fat and disgusting. Okay, so that's a very, I don't want to say a very tough guy message, because I know it's more than that, but I'm just simplifying, okay? So regarding the warrior diet, how does that compare? I think that if you're able to be a little bit more intelligent about it, I think that when you're doing OMAD or when you're fasting, I think that it's not the end of the world if you have a little bit of fruit, or if you have a little bit of juice, or if you have a small handful of almonds. Okay, now you have to keep in mind, this is not a meal that you're eating. This is literally like a snack, like one piece of fruit or one fruit juice or something. When I was doing this, well, okay, I'll tell you also one more thing. This is a very good way to kind of learn a lot about yourself and how much you can cheat. Because you'll notice, if you experiment like this, which you should be doing anyway, but if you experiment and you notice, okay, today I didn't eat anything, I felt like this, I had this kind of workout. Today I had an apple at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then I had my workout, and I felt like this. Or today I had today I had a whole salad, I fucked up, I lost self-control and I had an entire salad and I felt like this. When you allow more flexibility into your eating routine, you learn a lot more about yourself. Now, obviously, when you get guys like Cole or like me or anybody else on the internet who tells you this is the way to do things, don't do it any other way, this is coming from a lifetime of testing different things. And at our current point in our development, this is what we believe to be true. Okay, so even though, just look at the amount of times that the snake juice recipe has changed. I've been doing into this since July of 2018. It's May of 2019 now. How often has the snake juice recipe changed? Maybe 5 times, and I'm sure it will change again in the future. Okay, and that's just one example, right? Your workout routine will change, your eating routine will change, the type of foods that you eat will change, but it's very important not to get caught up in doing things the right way and not starting until you have all your ducks lined up in a row and just doing something and understanding that it's a process and that it will change over time. Okay? So I hope that made sense. I highly encourage you guys to try the warrior diet. I'm not saying the steak diet's not good. It's amazing, it's wonderful, fasting is great and all that. But if you have, especially if you have a very active lifestyle, which you should, you should have an active lifestyle, but it just might make this whole thing a little bit easier for you if you know that you can, have a little bit of juice, like actual juice or an orange or something, and not have to jump right into being super hardcore disciplined. If that's fine, if that works for you, if you're doing it, then great. But at the end of the day, this is all about getting results. This is not about looking cool on the internet or posting pictures in a Facebook group, which I think is great. It's very important. But at the end of the day, we all hopefully live normal lives outside of the internet, and we want to have, the nicest body and be as healthy as possible in our normal life. Okay? So if that made sense to you, leave me a comment. Let me know if you've ever tried the warrior diet, or if you have ever modified, the snake diet or OMAD in any way. Let me know. Leave me a comment what your little trick is, because who knows, maybe I'll learn something from you. I probably will. Okay, subscribe to my channel. Check out legendarysuitjamas.com. Peace.